Hello, friends, and welcome back to Ghouls Night In, the spooky chat show with your best ghoul friends. I'm Penny Snark.
And I'm Midge Munster.
And, we have talked about a whole range of stuff on this show, Midge. There are a few classic subcategories of episode, and this one is going in the niche category of things that make Penny anxious. But in a fun way? Question mark.
Great.
We've talked about topics I would put in this bucket include space. Caves,
space.
Mount Everest, mirrors. So the other day I was minding my own business on YouTube, and through the mysteries of the algorithm, I found myself watching a story about Discovery Island, an abandoned part of Disney World. And I was like, this heebs majeebs real bad. Sounds like an episode. We're going to talk about abandoned places.
Hell yeah. Okay, cool.
Are you an abandoned stuff girly, Midge?
Yeah. Yes. I think which is what you're also saying, where I'm like, spooky, but I like it.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
I'm not afraid. I mean, I'm afraid, but not in a way where I wouldn't go.
I definitely have, what was it from, it was called benevolent masochism, right? Was the term for like why people like roller coasters in horror movies and stuff where it's like, it makes me feel bad, but I like it. And that is definitely how I felt and how I have often felt looking at, exploration, different places. I will say I don't know that I would want to go to an abandoned place in real life. I think
it would totally depend on what it is. Now, what you're talking about, an abandoned like amusement park, hell no. I mean, outside, yes, but as we all know, Midge suffers heavily from like uncanny valley, weird, I don't like a wax situation. I don't like animatronics. I've gotten better with it, but I think in this particular scenario, it would push me over the edge.
Yes, very, very fair. Yeah.
I don't even like to be in a functional thing like that. I'm not interested in abandoned.
Truly. Yeah. I mean, humans love an abandoned site. I mean, obviously, we have also talked on this pod about ancient sites and ruins, interesting places, but sometimes things are more recently left behind. And there's just something that's so eerie about a place that should have people with no people in it.
A good little liminal space moment.
Exactly, yes. So there are, of course, many types of people who may be interested in abandoned places, a historian or a preservationist. These are very popular with ghost hunters, people, searching for the supernatural. And then, of course, there is the urban explorer. And I read a really interesting article called Urban Exploration as Creative Practice by Elizabeth Blasius. And she I will say, so we're going to mention up at the top of the episode something that she talks in here that kind of as this urban exploration abandoned content has continued to grow in popularity and it's easier than ever to get high quality recordings, there are more and more people who are not being safe or respectful when they visit these places. Yep. So just a reminder that Ghouls Night In podcast always advocates for being respectful of places you visit. And also most of the stuff we're going to talk about today is illegal. We are not responsible for any laws broken by listeners who think that this sounds really cool, because it does sound really cool, but, be aware, be safe, be respectful.
Yes, we are not encouraging you to go investigate abandoned places.
No, but urban exploration is something that has kind of well-established roots from before kind of this a modern content vibe. The earliest kind of organized urban exploration group is traced back to San Francisco's Suicide Club in the 1970s. I think 1977 they started. And they were really just about chaotic events, exploring the world around you. And it's just really interesting. There's very much a kind of similar approach as wilderness explorers. have in that sort of like take only pictures sort of vibe. And this article was really talking about exploring as an act of creation, which was, I thought, kind of a cool take. Like this idea that just like seeing and experience something is sort of its own creative act.
Yeah.
And I will say, I think abandoned places is probably the most famous kind of avenue of urban exploration. But as I was researching, it actually encompasses a wide variety of activities, including transit tunnels, getting inside like private places of active buildings, as well as draining, which is going in storm drains. And I will say learning about each of these stressed me out so much. I did not like this.
I have to share that I have been in storm drains.
Are you a drainer, Midge?
Well, not per se, but I was really, really big into geocaching in high school.
Oh, yeah.
And me and my friends went a lot of places that my parents would not have been happy to know that I was in. And if they are listening, which they usually do, sorry, Mom and Dad.
Sorry about it.
That's actually, though, that's early, like, Midge lore of how I became so interested in cemeteries. A lot of geocache stuff would lead to, like, old cemeteries, and I got very... There's a lot of, like, photos of twee me wandering through old cemeteries in, like, 2010, 2009. But yeah. I have been in the storm drains.
I have not been in a storm drain.
I'll see if I can find it. There's a picture of me and my friend in the storm drain geocaching.
Oh my God, that is so crazy. I would not have expected that from you.
Yeah, I'm full of surprises.
You are full of surprises. I will say the Wikipedia page for urban exploration does list 11 people who have died urban exploring, which I feel like
perfect.
That would be a very difficult thing to quantify. So like,
right.
But primarily it is from falling, because when you are in kind of maybe decaying places that can
things
happen.
that aren't well kept.
Mm-hmm. And then there was someone who died kayaking in a storm drain, which
whoa
is that was a full Jeep heaving. I was like, oh my God, I do not like this.
I can't even picture quite what that would look like, but wow.
Yep. Crazy. But I am focusing on abandoned things. And it really was funny as I was researching this, because I was just going into it being like, I don't necessarily want to talk about like a specific spot. Like we are going to talk about kind of like varietals. And I am definitely open to doing like episodes on specific abandoned places if folks are interested in that. But I really just was like, what is it that draws us to kind of wanting to see this? And I felt like my research ended up being like much more artsy than it usually is.
Oh, I love that.
Because like I said, there was this like urban exploration as creative practice. And then I also read a piece by Mark Minkjohn for the site Failed Architecture that was talking about like modern ruins, which great band name, I have to say.
Absolutely.
Modern Ruin slaps. As kind of like its own form of death, and that we're accustomed to like grieving for people and seeing people come to an end of their life and what comes next, but we don't have that usually for like structures and buildings. Yeah, even though they also reach an end of useful life and can either, be transformed into something new or fall into decay. And he was really talking kind of about like, especially in a world that really dictates like how we're expected to interact with spaces, and like recommending that like exploring an abandoned place is like stepping outside of kind of the socially approved experience of urban spaces.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do recommend. I thought that was really interesting. And I thought that it would be fun to share my personal tier list of abandoned place types.
Ooh, okay.
Because
I'm excited.
I'm hip and tier lists are what we do these days.
We're doing our Watch Mojo top 10
Exactly.
abandoned. I
Exactly.
actually do have in my head what my top abandoned place is, so I'll be interested to see if it makes your list.
Ooh, so
Like type
I
of place, I mean.
yes, I want to
Yeah, yeah.
hear your thoughts if you agree or disagree with some
Okay.
of mine. So in my D tier on the bottom, I'm going to start with probably my most controversial opinion here, which
Oh.
is that I put in this tier prisons, hospitals, institutions.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just like, this is depressing. I'm not into it.
Yeah, no, I'm on full cosign with that.
All right.
There's a really famous like mental hospital here that's abandoned that they give tours of. And as a very energy sensitive person, I have zero desire to go into those types of places where people were mistreated and hurt.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like you said, this is a really. I think this is also a pretty common type of like approved abandoned place. Like you said, there are
Yes.
prisons or asylums or whatever that have been abandoned and have now become like an attraction, which can
Yeah,
be
especially in
interesting.
the paranormal
Yes.
investigation world. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be paranormal or historic of whatever. I mean, obviously these are a lot of places that like the Ghoul Boys go to, like, old prisons and stuff. And I'm just like, I know it's really popular, but it's just not my vibe. The vibes are bad there.
Yeah, I don't mind like like that, like watching other people do it, but yeah, I would not put myself personally in that situation.
Yeah, and if I'm gonna like watch like a video of someone being like, I'm exploring an actually like fully abandoned place, I'm like, I don't really want to see these. These are not the
No,
ones that I'm gonna
agreed.
click on. I am also putting in this tier like factories and industrial sites. They're just not that interesting to me.
Yeah, agree.
All right. In my C tier, I have personal homes, parentheses, regular.
So what is regular? Just like standard residential.
Yeah, so just like a standard residential home, which I just find to be usually not that interesting, and also just kind of on that more on the depressing side.
Is there a statute of like what like how that come I don't know if this came up in your reading. Like anything that, it has to have been people have not been there for this number of years for it to be considered abandoned.
So this is something that I looked into a lot. It sounds like a lot of a lot of people who are involved in this, like kind of, there are distinctions made between, but like they're like interested in like vacant. Sometimes people say vacant instead of abandoned, because that was I was on a random Reddit thread where someone was like, well, a lot of the places are like are not truly quote abandoned because like someone maybe still owns the land that it's on, or like somewhere that might have like security still on premise, but like vacant, no longer in use, is still kind of like a category that people are into.
Well, that's I guess like in my head I'm like weirdly an estate sale sort of fits into this category
yeah.
in a way, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and I would say I am even abandoned home parentheses regular. I think I'm fascinated by seeing how people use their spaces and how they lived, and I
That
think
is fair.
I
That
think
is
that
fair.
would be higher for me.
All right. I that is the only thing I have in my C tier.
Okay.
In my B tier, I have dead malls, which I think is very
heart dead mall.
spooky, but just I'm like, I feel like it's kind of overplayed at this point. I'm kind of like, I seen the dead mall.
Okay.
But it is an interesting one, and we do have a pretty like well explored mall outside Milwaukee
Okay.
that is Northridge, that it was actually in what's his name, he's like a YouTube guy with the sunglasses, Casey Neistat, I think.
Don't have any clue who that is.
Yeah. So he's a YouTuber guy. He did like a big like event at our dead mall where
Okay.
like they like took it over, and I think people were like skateboarding in there.
Oh, interesting.
This was happening
Okay.
while I was like working in like city stuff, so I was kind of plugged in on that.
I gotcha.
Also in my B tier would be schools, which I think are just kind of hit or miss. Like some are really cool and some I'm like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, I would agree that it's kind of like depending on what type of school and when could be really cool, but not high on my list.
Yes. So in my A tier, we've got homes, parentheses, historic.
Yes.
So like a time capsule house, I'm very into that.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Or also like a mansion, like something that's super kind of oversized and dramatic. I am into, and also on like the top of my A tier, kind of like filtering towards the S tier, I would say are brands. So like old Blockbusters, 90s Taco Bell,
cool.
Pizza Huts, things like that. I think that is like really cool and interesting. And I enjoy seeing those.
Man, what I wouldn't give to walk through an abandoned Blockbuster.
Right.
That's I would pay good money.
That's a good one.
But I want to be by myself, no one else. Like not like a tourist thing where it's a group of 20 of us.
I
want to be in that Blockbuster all alone.
Yes. And so in my S tier, the best of the best, as mentioned before, we got theme parks.
Yeah.
Any kind of theme park stuff is super interesting, super cool. And as I said, I was inspired to do this episode by this Disney one, which was crazy. I don't know. Are you familiar with Discovery Island?
A little bit. I've watched a little bit of stuff about that, yes.
Yeah. So it just like, for those who do not know, this was an island, it was an actual normal island that existed already before Disney World.
Island parentheses normal.
Island parentheses normal. But that became part of Disney World, and they ended up building it up. And for a long time, they had like a bird sanctuary on there, and it was kind of like a cool bird zoo. And then it was abandoned when they opened Animal Kingdom and kept being like, we're going to do something else here. And they never have. And it looks like fucking Jurassic Park on that island now because everything's been taken over. But also they like left all the equipment and stuff there. And famously there is like a snake in a Coke bottle. Like someone was like preserving specimens in there. And it is all just very crazy. And because it's an island, the first people who recorded going there actually swam there. Which is crazy to me, especially, now post kid getting eaten by a crocodile at Disney World. Like, I don't want to be swimming in there. Other people have boated across, which seems a little bit more reasonable. But yeah, it's super crazy and very oogie. So that's definitely one that like is high on my like, this makes me anxious, like in my gut, but like I like to watch it.
Yeah, I will say as someone who just said I wouldn't want to go there, I do spend a lot of time looking at photos of abandoned theme parks.
Yes.
And I'm controversial, maybe opinion. I'm not recommending this book, but there was a book released called Hide by Kirsten White. It's a horror book that the whole premise is like a more or less a game show, like competition show that takes place. These people have to like survive in an abandoned theme park.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about this one.
Yeah, the concept was excellent. The execution was not, but I picked it up specifically because I was like, ooh, abandoned theme park.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
no. And then my other item in my S tier.
Is it gonna be my S tier?
I don't know. It's hotels and resorts.
Oh. Is that your last one?
That is my last one. What's
Mine
your
didn't
favorite?
even make the list.
Oh my gosh.
No, hold on. Talk to me about hotels and resorts.
Oh, I love like an abandoned hotel. Are
you talking like any hotel or like more like a boutique hotel?
Mostly like a boutique hotel.
Yeah.
Like this was, I feel like when I think of like my nostalgia, like the height of when I was really into looking at abandoned stuff, I would go on Messy Nessie Chic. I don't know if you were ever on that website.
I don't think so.
So she does like all sorts of like weird vintage type of things generally, like
Okay.
not necessarily weird and spooky, so but it would be like, oh, like a capsule apartment, or oh, like here's like cool French stuff. But she would post photos from these like Mediterranean resorts that had
Oh,
like
cool.
been abandoned, and I just love like all the different like rooms, and like so often those are things that are like fully abandoned, like with stuff already still there, which
Sure.
obviously is far
More interesting.
superior to a place that has been cleared out. And I will say that I did not include like ghost towns on this
Sure.
list, because I'm like, that's its own thing, and very likely one of us will probably do a ghost town episode
At some
at some
point,
point.
right?
So I was like, I don't want to talk about those. What's your favorite, Midge?
Mine would be abandoned theaters.
Oh.
This is like a big weird obsession of mine is any kind of abandoned theatrical space because I
Oh.
think it's like so stunning because it's usually again kind of a historic home situation where it's like usually very extravagant, and then like seeing theaters start to like rot is the most like, oh, it makes me like, ooh.
Oh, see,
Love it.
I feel like that's not something that I've seen a lot of, so I'll have to look. I'll have to look into it, because I totally agree. That was not one that came to mind as like a common abandoned place that I have seen stuff from. But I will have to do some diving, because I do love that kind of thing.
I love an abandoned theater. There's like a lot of people that have done photography where they, do an abandoned theater and they like bring like a ghost light to put on the
Yeah.
stage and then do like then it's like the crumbling. Oh my god.
The spooky vibes. Ugh. Yeah, it's just fascinating. And like I said, I am a wimp. I will, not to name names, but I do know someone who has been in an abandoned theme park,
Oh, cool.
whose name is Caitlin. And she is definitely much more of a real life adventurous person than me. But like all like the photos and stuff that she got was very cool.
The only thing like in the same vein as theme park, when you were saying like abandoned hotel, the very first thing that popped into my mind, I've probably told this story on the pod before, but like one of the most scared I've ever been as a kid was at the Great Wolf Lodge.
Oh yeah.
In the water park, like the giant totem things freaked me out so
Sure.
bad. And so when you said that, my first thought was like an abandoned Great Wolf Lodge is probably my like worst nightmare.
Oh my god, that sounds so good. I
Ooh, you know
love
what would be
that.
cool? I feel like that's theme park adjacent, but I'm like, ooh, like an abandoned rainforest cafe would
Ooh,
go
yeah.
hard.
Yeah,
That would be really cool.
that would be super cool. I'm sure they they have
I'm
been
sure there
explored.
are. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sure there are
Yeah.
ones.
But no, I definitely love, because there's also like there's like abandoned like resorts around, obviously, like Orlando and things like that. So obviously, all the Disney people are around scoping those out. But I also, and this was kind of a subset that like I we'll talk about it now. I also really
wish you
love
would.
just like abandoned rides specifically, like especially like
Yes.
even in like active parts of a theme park, but like this attraction has
shut
been
down.
shut down, and like still has stuff. Like obviously there's tons of like Disney related ones, since that's, the big boy, but anything where it's like this is still an active place, but there's just like this little like pocket of rot in the center of it, I'm like, ooh, that's good shit.
Yeah, I do think that's really, really cool too. There's I think here at Worlds of Fun, I think they closed. There was this ride called Cyclone Sam. I don't think it's open anymore, but it's still, the building's still there. And I'm like, I bet that's creepy as hell inside.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could go to a real place, just because it does creep me out. And I feel, and it doesn't, this was something that was like just kind of interesting, just, personal information about me is like, I don't find like there's so many horror movies obviously that are based on the idea of like abandoned places. It's a super common trope, and like that doesn't freak me out, but a real abandoned place freaks
Totally.
me out.
I totally get that. Oh, I was gonna mention, just if anybody listening is from here and is interested, there is a gal named Regina Daniel in Kansas City that has a whole series of books called like Abandoned Kansas City,
Ooh,
Abandoned
sweet.
like Eastern Kansas City, Abandoned Kansas City like in plain sight. Like she comes to a lot of the any of the like dark markets and stuff that I go to locally. But she does like photography of a lot of the abandoned areas in KC, and it's really cool if this is something that interests you and you care about Kansas City history. It's really, really fascinating.
Yeah, it's just so interesting, and like just anytime you can like see a place where like people just like, I think like
Just
when
stopped
there's like
being.
just stop being there, and it looks like, I'm like, did people get raptured? Like what happened?
It
But
is
they
very
just,
that where it looks like it just one day just stopped.
right. And this reminds me of, and this could probably even be its own thing, but do you remember the show Life After People? Oh, so this is like, if you are like an Abandoned Place fan, it was in the like 2010s, I think. I feel like it was on when like I was in college, but it was like I don't even know. I'm guessing it was a Discovery Channel show that was like projecting like what happens to places like if all people were gone. So like
Ooh.
showing like how like major buildings could go through decay, and being like, oh, and like now wolves have like moved into this area and stuff. It was so spooky. I
Whoa.
remember like watching it on cable and being like, ooh, oh my
It's a
god.
History Channel documentary
Oh,
series.
there you go. History Channel. Yeah, it was really very cool and interesting.
Well, this is, I mean, just something in general that I like, you even looking at like cemeteries or anything, or the pavement outside your house, like how quickly when someone stops messing with it, how quickly nature takes it back.
Truly.
And I think that's, too kind of both what you said about, I really like that concept of like observing the death of a space. That's really
Yeah.
fascinating because I find Devin has really also instilled this in me, like this just fascination with rot and how like rot starts to happen, but also that
Totally.
the like inherent nature of nature to just
Hey.
reclaim what wasn't supposed to be there, but what wasn't there originally. It just kind of
Yeah, things that are
pulling it
placed within nature will be consumed by it eventually.
fascinating.
I know. And so that is what I have about Abandoned Places. I just think they're neat and spooky, and I wanted to
Yeah.
talk about it.
No, I'm glad you did. I this is definitely something that has tickled my interest throughout the years, but I never really thought about the complexities of that or why or anything. So this was a cool topic.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, and so thanks listeners for tuning in. If you guys are interested in like more specific abandoned site discussions, let us know. It's one of those things that's like, it's definitely like, it's spooky adjacent. I feel like it's weird, so it could have fit in on here. And if you would like to keep in touch with us, we'll be sharing some photos and stuff on the Instagram, and you can also hang out in the Ghouls Night in Discord. And I think I will definitely link the articles that I read for this week in there,
Yeah,
just
please do.
because they are like just really interesting reads, I think, in general. Oh, the one thing that did not come up that made me laugh, that was in the one urban exploration article, is that apparently in the culture you call an abandoned place bandos. Which I just thought was like weirdly cute sounding.
That's so funny.
It was just like, oh, you wanna check out a bando with me this weekend, Midge?
Today I've learned about bandos. I've learned about drainers. I've learned
Yes, you learned that there's a name for your storm drain shenanigans.
I did find the picture, by the way. I will
Oh
be
yes,
sending that over to you.
hell yeah, send that to me immediately. But yes, so definitely come and join us. There's a link to join the Discord in the episode description, as well as on our Instagram, which is at Ghouls Night in Pod. I believe we are out of fresh hot reviews for now, so
Yeah.
we would very much appreciate it if you could leave us a 5-star review where you listen. Apple is a major place, but we certainly love Spotify comments, or you can go ahead and send us a DM on Instagram if you're not able to leave a review in the place that you listen. We always appreciate hearing your fun words and wacky stories that you might have associated with things that we talk about. So,
yes.
Oh yeah, tell us about abandoned places in your area, or if you've ever explored a theme park or something.
Tell me if you've also climbed in a storm drain.
Have you climbed in a storm drain? Have you been in a Blockbuster that's closed? We want to know.
That I do want to know. Yes.
Yes.
Tell
Tell
me
Midge where it is. So
send Midge the coordinates, and she will geocache her way to the
yes
the abandoned Blockbuster.
And if you are looking to find me, you can find me at Penny Snark.
You can find me all over the web at Midge Munster.
And until next time, good.